When you're first learning how to use Excel, there's 5 basic functions you can start with that won't leave you feeling overwhelmed. And they are sum, average, count, min, and max. And all 5 of those functions are in this drop-down menu up here, which makes them easy to find if you can't remember how to get them started. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use all 5 of those functions, and then I'm going to show you how to easily copy and paste those functions into other cells to speed up your spreadsheet making process. And if you'd like to grab a copy of the spreadsheet that I use in this video, just click on the link in the description below. Okay, so go ahead and grab your copy and we'll get started. Let's begin with the sum function. And what we'll do is we'll add up the numbers in column B and we'll put the total down here. Now there's a couple of different ways we can do this. The first way is to come up to the ribbon and click on auto sum. And as you can see, that's started off the function, and it's also had a guess as to which cells we want to add up, and it's guessed correctly. So if we wanted to, we could just press enter and that one would be done. Now I'll just delete that and I'll show you another way, which is to come up to the ribbon again, click on the drop down and then choose sum from the menu. And once again, it's started off the sum function for us and it's had a guess as to the cells we want to add up. So again, we could press enter and that would be our sum function done. But I'll just delete that again and show you the other way, which is to type in equals sum and open the brackets. And that starts off our sum function. And then all we need to do is pick the numbers that we want to add up. So in this case, we're just choosing this array of numbers here. So I'll just drag the mouse over there, close the brackets and press enter. And 2080 is the result of adding up all of those numbers there in column B. Okay, so once you've got one sum function done, if you need to add up the next column in column C, you don't have to create the sum function from scratch. You can just put your mouse over the little fill handle down the bottom here, left click on your mouse, hold it down and just drag that across and then let go. And that's actually copied the sum function across. And if I click into it in the formula bar up here, you can see that's added up the values in column C. Another way to do it is by copying and pasting. So if we control C, so we've just copied the sum function there at C9, and then we can come across to D9 and press Ctrl V, and we've pasted it in, and that's adding up the values in column D. Okay, so that's how you can do it for columns. It's the same sort of thing for rows. We could start off the sum function in any of the ways we saw before. So let's just do it by typing it in, and we'll select our array of numbers with the mouse and close it off. Okay, so that's adding up the 3 numbers there for the portable blender. And then once again, we can drag it down if we like. So that's adding up each row. Or we could Control C and then select the cells that we want to paste the sum functions into and Control V. Okay, so now we've got sum functions all the way down column E, adding up all the numbers for the different products. Now, if we wanted to do a grand total, we could just come down to the cell here at E9 and type in equals sum and open the brackets. And this time we can drag the mouse over the whole lot and close it off. And that's the grand total of all the numbers there for all of the products in the entire array for January, February, and March. Next up, we have the average function. And once again, there's a few ways we can start that off. We could come up to the ribbon, click on the drop down and choose average. And as you can see, Excel has guessed that we want to average the numbers there in column B. So again, we could just press enter and that would be done. I'll just delete that and I'll just show you that the other way to do it is type in equals and average. And then we can drag the mouse over the numbers that we want, close the brackets and press enter. Okay, and that's the average of the numbers there in column B. Just like for the sum function, we can use the fill handle to drag that across to the next column to get the average there. And we can also Control C and Control V to get the average for column D. Okay, so let's do our rows now for our products. So I'll type in equals average and open the brackets, and we'll select our array of numbers and close it off. Okay, so there's the average there of January, February, and March's numbers for the portable blender. So I'll just drag that down with the fill handle, and then I'll Control C and Control V to show you how to easily copy and paste that down. So that one there is grabbing the average there of the eyeshadow stamp numbers. And again, if we want to do a grand total, we can just type in equals average, drag the mouse over all the numbers and close it off. And now we have the average of all of the numbers for all of the months and all of the products. Okay, now we're going to find the minimum values by using the min function. So let's start off with January, and we can come up to the ribbon again and we can choose min. And that started off the function for us and had a guess as to which cells we want to evaluate. So if I press enter, you can see that that's given us the result of 100, which is the minimum number out of that array of numbers there. The other way we can do this is by typing equals min and open brackets, select our array of numbers with the mouse and close it off, and we get 100 as the minimum value. And then we can drag that across with the fill handle, and as you can see, 0 is the minimum value there for February. And then we can Control C to copy and Control V to paste, and we get 110 as our minimum value for March. Now we'll look at the minimums for the products by row. So we'll type in equals min and open the brackets, select our array with the mouse. So we get 100, which is the minimum value for those three numbers. We can drag that down with the fill handle. We can Control C and Control V to copy and paste that down. And we'll just check that one. So that's getting the lowest value there for the eyeshadow stamps, which is 190. And once again, we can do a minimum of all of the numbers by typing in the min function, selecting the entire array, closing it off, and that's telling us that 0 is the minimum value that it can find in that entire array of numbers there. Okay, so the max function is going to be quite similar to the min function. So we can start off once again by going to our ribbon, choosing max, and Excel has guessed the numbers that we want to evaluate. Okay, so the maximum value in that array is 560, which is correct. I'll just delete that and show you that you can type in equals max and open the brackets. Use the mouse to select the array and close it off. So there's 560 as our result. We'll use the fill handle to drag that across. 900 is our result. Control C and Control V to copy and paste that across, and we get 780 as our maximum value for March. Okay, now we'll look at the maximum values for each product by typing in equals max and opening the brackets. We'll just select the array there and close it off. And 780 is our maximum value out of those three values for the portable blender. We'll drag that down with the fill handle, Control C and Control V to copy that down. And we'll just double check that we're getting 900 there for the eyeshadow stamp. So that's correct. And we'll grab the maximum for the entire array by selecting the whole array of numbers and closing it off. And 900 is the maximum value that the max function can find in that array of numbers for all of the months and all of the products. Okay, the final function we're going to look at is count, and that counts how many numbers there are in an array. So we'll start off over here in cell A7, and again we can go to the ribbon and the drop-down menu, and we can choose count numbers. Okay, so Excel has had a guess that we want to count the numbers there in column A, so we'll just click on enter, and it's given us a result of 5, so it's saying there's 5 numbers from cell A2 to A6, which is correct. Okay, so if I just delete that, and then I type in equals count and open the brackets, that's the other way you can start this off. And then select your array, close the brackets, and the result that we get is 5. Okay, so that's the two different ways that you can start that function off. So what I'll do here is I'll just drag this across with the fill handle to show you that that can be done. And then we'll Control C and Control V just to paste it along the rest of row 7 there and evaluate each of the columns. And let's have a look at the results. Okay, so this one here is saying that there's 4 numbers in there. And that's because even though we've got 1 in cell B2, it's in quotes. So it's not really picking it up as a number. Excel is just saying that the numbers are 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the number 1 in quotes is not a number. So that's why you get the result of 4. In the next one along, we get the result of 0 because we've got A, B, C, D, and E. So we've got 4 letters and no numbers. So we get 0. The next one across, we get 4 because we've got an A in cell D2, which is of course not a number. So we've got 4 numbers. Over here, we've got a result of 4 because A1 is not a number. It's a combination of a number and a letter. Over here, we get 4 because the asterisk is not a number. It's a special character. So it's only counting 2, 3, 4, and 5 as numbers. Over here, we get 4 again because the blank cell is not being counted as a number. Just 1, 2, 4, and 5 are being counted as numbers. Now over here, we get 5 as a result. So it's counting the dates as numbers. So that's something to keep in mind, that Excel does count dates as numbers if you're using the count function. And then finally over here, we get 4 because we've got the numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5, but in cell I2, where we actually do have a little formula in there, which is 1 divided by 0, we get an error message. So it's not counting the error message as a number, even though there's a formula in there with some numbers in it. Okay, so that's something else to keep in mind, that Excel does not count error messages as numbers when you're using the count function. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the video, and that's 5 functions that you can start off with when you're first using Excel. And just as a reminder, all of them can be found in this drop-down menu up here in the ribbon.